What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So Weiss Schwarz have recently made an announcement about the Dengeki Bunko set, and basically they have revealed some SPs, the amount of SPs and the products. And what's great here is that they've announced 64 SPs, and despite the title and things like that, for this set, I think it is the perfect set to have that amount of SPs. This is exactly what this set needed. So for those of you that don't know, Dengeki Bunko is a light novel publishing company in Japan. So within this set, there are many sub-series and IPs. And basically what having that amount of SPs means is that each of those sets and IPs within it will have an SP. So if we head on over to the Weiss Schwarz product page, we've got the booster box here, and this is coming out in September. This is a Japanese release. We have had a previous Bunko set, a previous light novel set in Japan, which was the Fantasia Bunko set. So this one is for Dengeki, and it is celebrating their 30th anniversary. But let's take a look at the information. So 64 SPs. So really good to see for this set, and I'll explain why after we just scroll down here. So these are all of the IPs and series that they publish, that they have the rights to publish and the licensing and everything like that. As you can see, there are quite some big names on here. We've got Sword Art Online, we've got the Rascal series, the Bunny Girl Rascal series. So that is obviously massive. And the great thing is that if this was like 10 SPs, if this was a 8 or 10 SPs, they would have to pick which of these series get the SP. So for anyone who's coming in for a series that might not be that popular but they love, then it's would be really disappointing if you found out that that series was not getting an SP within this set. So I think I've counted this list. It was about 50 something, and obviously they have got 64 SPs. So I'm assuming for some series that have like sequels and things like that, perhaps they will get 2 SPs, but I would imagine every one of these will be getting at least 1 SP, and that's why the numbers are sort of what they are, because that is just perfect, that no matter what set, which one of these are your favorite, that there's going to be, it's quite likely that there's going to be an SP for every single one of them. Now, having a high amount of SPs is something that they seem to be doing recently. So I know Big B on YouTube, if you go check out his channel, he's been doing videos on this recently and watching what they've been doing with the Japanese product quite closely, and he's made some sort of educated assumptions on what's going on. So there have been a few other sets with high amount of SPs, and there's also been some trial decks that haven't had SPs. But so, sorry, before we move on, this set does actually have 2 trial decks as well. So it is coming out with 2 trial decks, and they are getting SPs as well, which is surprising, to be honest, because of what they have recently been doing. So it's good to see that, but quite often at the moment they are releasing sets with a high amount of SPs in the booster boxes and trial decks with no SPs in. And the assumption here is they pay a license for the SPs based on how many products there are. So by not including them in trial decks, they can save some money, and maybe they don't have to pay per how many SPs they have, but they just pay per product. So they still have it in the booster box, and to kind of counteract the disappointment of not having it in a trial deck, they put a load of SPs in the booster box. This is an example of a set that recently came out, 2 weeks ago now, and it had 70 SPs. Uma Musume had 70 SPs. Now, as good as that sounds, I think it's a bit of a marketing ploy, and I think actually we don't want this going forward. I think this makes it less fun to open. With having that many SPs, there basically becomes more SPs that are less desirable. Yes, there's going to be some chase SPs, there always will be, but you're kind of oversaturating the SPs. And let's just say you buy a case, and let's say even if there's like 3 SPs that you really, really like, the chances of you getting one of those SPs that you like are extremely low. Let's say there's 3 very expensive chase SPs as well. You're just not very likely to get them. You don't really have much of a chance at getting them because there are so many SPs. But not only that, there's obviously going to be some SPs that are less desirable, and because there are so many, I will assume that some of them will be very cheap. I'd imagine you're probably looking at some SPs that are like $50 or something like that, because there are just so many of them. So not only does it make the opening experience less fun if you're buying a case, but I feel like expected value is probably going to drop because there's so many SPs you can hit that just aren't really worth that much. At least when there's 6 SPs, even the least popular SP is normally at least like $100. And yeah, I think having this amount of SPs in sets that don't need them, Dengeki makes complete sense, but just any other set, I think having such a large amount is detrimental to the set and opening it and collecting it. Like, imagine if you want to collect all of the SPs and you've got 70 SPs that you need to go and buy, because let's be honest, you're never pulling 70 SPs on your own. And getting all of the different ones and not getting duplicates or anything like that. So yeah, I think just from a lot of perspectives, it doesn't make it better. More in this case is not better. And I think they're just jumping on these high numbers to make it sound good, but in reality, I don't think it becomes as fun as it was when there was only sort of single figure SPs in the set. I don't think long term this is a good thing for them to be doing. Another set that had this, which was in English fairly recently, couple of months back, was Bang Dream 5th anniversary. Now I believe they only really done this because it was a 5th anniversary set, so they wanted to do something quite fun for it. So they chucked in 35 SSPs and 35 SPs. Now, I mean, I've looked on TCG Player, half of these cards just don't even exist. And I don't know if that's because there are so many SSPs and SPs that, like, not enough people even ordered this for all of these cards. I mean, I don't think that's the case, but it would kind of be funny if it was true and some of these cards almost don't exist because they made too many of them in the set and actually didn't print enough. But I'd imagine they do exist, but they're probably it just sat in someone's collection or something like that. It's just, you know, not everyone who pulls something wants to sell it. Some people do keep them. You know, who knows on that ratio, but it is kind of interesting to look at. I think there was only a few prices for some of the SSPs, and I think they were like $1,000 but unpaid. So it's really, really hard to gauge the high SPs and the high SSPs based on this set because it's not really a popular set. So you can't really find many sort of listings and sold listings and transactions for it. I think Dengeki Bunko, though, will be a really, really good one to watch and really, really good to see what happens with the prices of all of these 64 SPs, because it will be popular. The last Bunko set was very popular. These will only be coming out sort of in Japanese as did the last set. So yeah, it's one that a lot of people are very excited for, and because of the set and because of the sub IPs, there's a lot of series here that people would just didn't expect would get a set because it's kind of quite niche, and so there are a lot of people looking at this set. There are a lot of people that are going to want to open this set and collect some of it, and I think the good thing about it is the subsets within it, like the sub IPs, means you can come in. Maybe you only like Sword Art Online, and you come in and you just buy and collect only the Sword Art Online cards. Like, I can't imagine there's going to be that many people that want to collect the full set along with every single one of these SPs. Like, it's just unlikely, but it will be a really, really good one to watch. Look at prices and analyze how these high amount of SPs impacts the market and how it impacts the price, how it impacts expected value if you're buying a case, because I think going forward, like that's what's going to happen. It's going to mean that the expected value drops a lot. And yeah, I just don't think it makes for a fun opening unless these SPs are going to be sort of a really good pull rate in the sense that you get a lot of SPs, but even then it's going to devalue them because there's a lot of them being given out and in boxes. It's a really tricky one. It's interesting to see them do it. This set, as I said, makes complete sense because of wanting to cover all of the different series, and I think it's a really good move for this set. But for other sets going forward, I don't think it's a good idea at all. But let me know what you think. Is there something that I've not considered? Is there... Yeah, do you think it's actually a good idea? Do you think it's really, really good that there's such a range of SPs? Let me know in the comments. I'll be really interested to hear your thought and speak to you guys about this because, yeah, that's just my opinion. It'd be really, really good to get a different perspective if there's definitely things I haven't considered. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Are you excited for this set? Are you picking it up? And going forward, what do you think about the high amount of SPs that they seem to be sort of trialing for some sets? Is that something you like, or is it something that is going to put you off picking up a case and opening a case? So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.